There is something haunting about a modern dinner table, a group of people sitting together, yet utterly alone. The food is warm, but the atmosphere is cold. Eyes are glued to glowing rectangles. Thumbs are scrolling through infinite feeds, and the silence isn't peaceful. It is heavy. I have sat at that table, and I have wondered, is this what the future was supposed to look like? We were promised connection. We were promised a global village. But what we got was a digital cage, a world where we have thousands of friends online, but no one to call when we are crying. Statistics back this up. In a recent survey, a quarter of Americans admitted to eating all their meals alone. That number has doubled in just 20 years. And with that solitude comes a deep, aching dissatisfaction. It isn't just about eating alone, it is about existing alone. It is the feeling that the person sitting across from you isn't really there. They are physically present, but spiritually absent, lost in an algorithm that knows them better than you do. This is the quietest epidemic in human history, loneliness, in 2023. 1 in 5 people globally reported feeling lonely for most of the day. In some places, that number jumps to 60% for young adults. Imagine that, the most connected generation in history is also the most isolated, but we don't call it a crisis. Because we have been trained to believe that suffering is a private matter, that if you are lonely, it is your fault, that if you are empty, you just need to buy more, scroll more, consume more. But beneath the loneliness lies something even darker, the meaning gap. Psychologist Viktor Frankl called it the existential vacuum. It is the feeling that life has no purpose, that we are just drifting through days, ticking off boxes, waiting for something to happen. We have luxury, but we don't have life. We have comfort, but we don't have contentment. We have 10,000 songs in our pocket, but not a single one that sings to our soul. In 2024, the United States dropped out of the top 20 happiest countries for the first time. And the steepest decline was among the youth. Why? Why are the people with the most potential feeling the most hopeless? Because we have built a society on a lie. The lie that more is better. The lie that happiness is something you can buy. The lie that if you just get the job, the car, the house, the status, you will finally feel whole. But behavioral science tells a different story. It is called the Easterlin paradox. Once your basic needs are met, more money does not equal more happiness. The curve flattens, and in fact, as wealth increases, empathy often decreases. We become islands, protecting our piles of gold, losing our connection to the humanity around us. We chase possessions, but we lose our psychic energy. We have no room left for love, for creativity, for silence. We are full of things, but empty of spirit. This leads us to a terrifying phenomenon, existential isolation. It is the sudden realization that no one truly knows you, that you are trapped inside your own consciousness. And no matter how hard you try to explain your inner world, words fail. Even in a crowded room, you feel separate, like an astronaut drifting in space, tethered to nothing. Technology was supposed to fix this. Social media promised to bridge the gap, but instead, it widened it. It gave us performance instead of connection. It gave us highlight reels instead of reality. We curate our lives for an audience that doesn't care. We post to prove we exist. We check for likes to validate our worth. But the dopamine hit fades in seconds, and the emptiness returns, stronger than before. Studies confirm this. Heavy social media use is linked to anxiety, depression, sleep disruption, and a profound dissatisfaction with life. We know it. Even teenagers admit it. They know the apps are hurting them. But they can't stop, because the alternative, sitting with their own thoughts, feels unbearable. We have outsourced our emotional regulation to screens. We scroll to numb the pain. We scroll to avoid the silence. And in doing so, we starve our souls. We have also lost the anchors that used to hold us, rituals, a few decades ago. Communities were bound together by shared ceremonies, family dinners, religious gatherings, neighborhood festivals. These were places where time slowed down, where you were part of something bigger than yourself. Now, time is fragmented. We eat standing up. We worship productivity. We gather only online. The decline of shared meals is not trivial. It is a symptom of a fractured society. When we stop breaking bread together, we stop sharing our humanity. Loneliness becomes the default state. And this isn't just emotional, it is physical. Loneliness kills. It is as dangerous as smoking. as dangerous as obesity. It destroys the immune system. It inflames the body. It shortens the lifespan. We are literally dying for connection, but it isn't just the modern world doing this to us. It is our ancient brains. Our brains evolved in tribes. They are wired to scan for safety, belonging, and identity, but now, they are bombarded with 24-hour news cycles, global tragedies, and endless notifications. The primitive brain is overwhelmed. It signals danger constantly, but our culture says, keep going, don't be weak, just hustle. So we repress the fear, we suppress the anxiety. We put on a mask of toxic positivity. We post #blessed while our hearts are breaking. And that unprocessed pain doesn't disappear. It rots, it turns into insomnia, it turns into panic attacks. It turns into a persistent ache that no amount of entertainment can cure. Philosophers call this existential anxiety, the struggle with the big questions: death, freedom, isolation, meaninglessness. We spend our lives running from these questions. We live on autopilot, distracting ourselves with trivialities, but the cost of avoidance is a shallow life. A life where we are consumers, not creators. A life where we value efficiency over connection, productivity over presence. We are trapped on the hedonic treadmill. Psychologist Daniel Gilbert showed that humans adapt quickly to everything. You get the promotion. You are happy for a month. Then you are bored. You buy the new car. You are thrilled for a week. Then it is just a car. We raise the bar for what is enough. We chase the next high, the next win, the next purchase, thinking, this time it will last, but it never does. We adapt, we normalize, we return to our baseline, and the hunger remains. We tell ourselves lies to cope. We tell ourselves that the system is fair, that if we look good, we are good, that our worth is tied to our output. These lies are invisible cages. We internalize them so deeply we don't even see the bars, but underneath, we yearn for something real, not more stuff, but more awe, more flow, more quiet, more meaning. We are a species built for depth, living in a shallow world, and that is where unhappiness thrives, in the gap between what we are and what we were meant to be. But here is the good news: unhappiness is not a life sentence. We can escape the trap, but to do so, we must stop seeking surface pleasure and start building depth. The Harvard study of adult development, the longest study on happiness ever conducted, found one clear truth: the single biggest predictor of a happy, healthy life is not wealth, not fame, not IQ. It is the quality of your relationships. People with warm, supportive connections live longer. They heal faster. They keep their memories longer. This doesn't mean having 1,000 friends. It means having people you can rely on. It means vulnerability. It means rituals of connection. Sitting with a friend without checking your phone. Listening without planning your response. Sharing your fears without judgment. This baseline of trust is the soil in which happiness grows. We need to return to simplicity. Sharing a meal is a sacred act. Studies show that people who eat with others report higher life satisfaction, even if they earn less money. It grounds us. It forces us to slow down. It reminds us that we are human beings, not human doings. But connection is only half the puzzle. The other half is meaning. We need to fill the existential vacuum. Viktor Frankl taught us that meaning isn't found. It is created. It is created through work that matters, through love that is unconditional, and through the attitude we choose when we face suffering. When you anchor your life in these things, you stop drifting. You have a North Star, but meaning requires action. It requires ritual. Modern science confirms that rituals regulate emotions. They reduce anxiety. They create a sense of control in a chaotic world, whether it is lighting a candle before you write, taking a walk every morning without your phone, or pausing to give thanks before you eat. Rituals build resilience. They drag you into the present moment. They make the ordinary sacred. We must also break the addiction to novelty. The answer to the hedonic treadmill is not to run faster. It is to step off. It is to practice gratitude, not the #kind, but the visceral kind, noticing the light in the trees, savoring the taste of coffee, appreciating the breath in your lungs. These micro-moments build depth. They rewire the brain to look for abundance instead of scarcity. Finally, we must reclaim our attention. Our minds were not designed for the digital flood. We are drowning in information, starving for wisdom. To heal, we need boundaries. We need hours where the screens are off. We need silence where the mind can wander. We need creative work that has no purpose other than expression. When the world is too loud, listen first. Listen to your own heartbeat. Listen to the wind. Listen to the person sitting next to you. We need to challenge the internal beliefs that hold us back. The lie that productivity is worth. The lie that speed is success. The lie that vulnerability is weakness. We need to replace them with intentional values, presence over speed, humanity over efficiency, humility over certainty. We are our stories, and we have the power to rewrite them. Healing unhappiness requires facing the big questions, not avoiding them. It requires accepting that suffering is part of life, but that suffering can have meaning. Life is limited, time is short, so why waste it being numb? Why waste it being lonely? Why waste it chasing things that will never fill you? Step out of the shallow water, dive into the deep, build the connections, create the meaning, live the rituals, because in the end, a full life isn't measured by what you accumulated. It is measured by how deeply you connected and how fully you love.